Look, I'm sorry. I've been recommending the Z Flips for a very long time, but after 6 months of using the Z Flip 6 and getting it replaced twice, my recommendation has to change as I go to uBreakIFix for the second time. But just because my unit failed didn't mean it was a widespread issue, so I tried not to blow it out of proportion. But then you guys flooded the comments with stories of your own device failures. So I decided to do a little bit of research. I scoured the webs to find other stories and uncovered a dirty secret that is hiding inside these devices. And more importantly, the conversations surrounding the future of the flips at Samsung are super alarming as well. So today, along with providing some illumination into these devices, we're probably sending Lee Kum-choi to jail with this one. Ladies and gentlemen, if I don't make a video next week, if I'm not here next week, just know they caught your boy. They didn't catch me lacking, but they caught me. So first, I wanted to find the difference. What is the specific reason the Z Flip 6 is failing so much more often than the Z Flip 5s and the Z Flip 4? Essentially, I found out that the Z Flip 6 is the very first flip phone that is being manufactured in Vietnam as opposed to South Korea. Or at least that's a common lie that's being told online. The fact is that the Z Flips have been made in Vietnam since the Z Flip 4. Okay, so it seems that display and screen manufacturing plants are the same ones. But more specifically, what about the digitizer? It seems to be the most common issue people are facing, and it's also being discussed online a lot. Essentially, the digitizer is the part of the screen or glass that you're actually touching, and underneath, with all the colors and the OLED goodness, is the actual display. So the digitizer's job is to turn your physical touch into a digital signal. And when I looked at the Z Flip 5 digitizer as compared to the Z Flip 6, they are essentially the same thing. But the glass is very different. In fact, the Z Flip 6 has a much thicker and much more rigid glass than the Z Flip 5 or any Z Flip that's come before. And that's not really a bad thing. It's actually good. It means the glass is harder, it's more resistant to scratches, and feels more like glass, which is something I've really enjoyed over the past 6 months. But it also means the glass is more brittle and more prone to shattering as well. I'm sure they thought it all through. I'm sure. The question, is it okay for Samsung to use the same digitizers but different glass thickness? Everything else, the OLED panels, the resolution, the refresh rates are exactly the same, only the glass has thickened. We don't have any conclusive ideas yet, but there is another major problem that I have with my Z Flip 6, and a lot of you guys do too: creaking, crackling, and gritting noises from the hinge. But that's where you're wrong. Those noises are coming from the glass. This year, Samsung updated the dustproof rating with a tiny hole in the device so to create a seal around the folded displays, and it's actually doing a fantastic job of keeping dust and grime out of the hinge and crease. It's a remarkably more dust-resistant crease than the Z Flip 5 and the Z Flip 4. So the creaking and gritting noises are not coming from dust and grime getting stuck in the crease or behind the screen and getting squashed every time you close the phone. Remember I said the glass is thicker? Well, just think about it like this. It's easy to bend thin sheets of plastic than it is to bend a thicker sheet, and it's certainly going to make a lot more noise. So it seems to be that this thicker glass is the reason for the enhanced failures in the digitizer and the enhanced noises that are coming out of this phone. Ladies and gentlemen, the multinational conglomeration assumes no fault of their own. The crackling, creaking, and popping is totally normal. So it's not supposed to get, worse, apparently. It's just supposed to be that way, is what I've been told.
Guys, it's cold out. It's cold. It do be cold out right now. It do be kind of cold right now.
And I wish it ended there, because there are more problems as well. Currently, I get random phone restart loops happening where the phone restarts, and when it gets back to the lock screen, guess what? The touchscreen doesn't work and I need to restart it again, and eventually it'll start working. And remember, this device already had the glass display and digitizer replaced once, so it isn't an old digitizer or components that are failing. And all of these issues come at a desperate time for Samsung. They've been trying really hard to keep their struggles under wrap, but ya boy is vicious. And while these are just rumors, there is some truth to them. Truth number one, Apple is pushing Samsung off the map. Disclaimer, I don't like Apple. We've all heard of Snapdragon, right? We know it's an amazing processor that's in almost every Samsung flagship, and we've also heard of Exynos, made by Samsung, the subpar processor when compared to Snapdragon and seen mostly in the European market. Don't worry, Apple has a role to play here. Snapdragon processors are made by Qualcomm, and Qualcomm and Samsung made a deal a long time ago. Qualcomm would give Samsung exclusive inventory access and reduced prices to their chips, and in return, Samsung could not sell their Exynos chips to most other phone manufacturers. But Qualcomm had a little trick up their sleeve. They had bought up exclusive cellular patent and licensing deals in North America, further cramming Samsung to rely on Qualcomm chips in the North American market. So now Apple has entered the fight.
I'll kick us off with Apple and Qualcomm. Apple's patent dispute with chipmaker Qualcomm was dealt a blow in the Supreme Court today.
Billion-dollar tech giants Qualcomm and Apple settling their 2-year feud.
There's more of a risk for Qualcomm in this than Apple. For Apple, it was mostly about money. For Qualcomm, it was sort of more of an existential threat to their business
Since
model.
2017, Apple has been suing and continues to challenge Qualcomm's patents and deals in North America. And with every battle, they break down a little bit more of Qualcomm's massive monopoly on the North American market. And it's no secret that Apple wants to make its own in-house cellular modems so it can ditch Qualcomm, and less business for Qualcomm would mean less money, and they already priced that in by raising their prices.
What's next for the longtime wireless ruler as Apple develops its own silicon, smartphone chip sales falter, and generative AI pushes GPU companies like Nvidia to the front of the pack?
Raising their prices. And Samsung, stuck in their Qualcomm deal and having relied on Snapdragon chips for the longest time, are super cramped. Now, they could fall back, ditch Qualcomm and Snapdragon altogether and exclusively use their Exynos chips. But most people around the world know that the Exynos chips are subpar. The only way to make that actually work would be to make their phone prices less expensive, and that's basically admitting defeat. But they also have the option of ditching Qualcomm and Exynos and going with a third-party manufacturer. Spoiler alert, that's exactly what they did with the Tab S10 Plus. We've already seen this happening already, where they went with the MediaTek chips, which I've never heard of, in their new Tab S10. And what does this mean for the Exynos chip? It means the dream is dead, ladies and gentlemen. It's over for Exynos. They're basically filing bankruptcy here in the United States with massive layoffs for their United States manufacturing facilities and massive downsizing as well. But it's not just Exynos. Samsung in general seems to be strapped for cash because this year they only dropped 2 versions of the Tab S10, the Tab S10 Plus and the Tab S10 Ultra. And the official reason Samsung gave for not releasing the regular Tab S10, go big or go home. So someone in the comments told me that they got rid of the S10 because they didn't want to compete with the Z Fold market. It's a $630 tablet versus a $1,700 phone. They are not the same market. Yeah, dumb. But there's a second truth to the rumors, which is even more insane and directly impacting your flip and fold dreams. Samsung got beat this year. The Google Fold has crushed the Z Fold, and it's because of one main reason. The Google R&D department did something insane. They sat down, went on Amazon.com and read the 1-star reviews on the Z Fold and thought, hey, let's just make the outer display bigger. But to add salt to the wound, Google got Samsung into a contract so they can use Samsung displays to outsell Samsung in the foldable market. And now you see a ton of discounted Z Folds for resale because owners are switching over to the Google Fold with an actual usable outer display. So getting cramped on the processor side and being very reactionary with their Tab S10 release, as well as losing out on the Fold competition or the Fold market this year, sparked the rumors that there is going to be no Z Flip 7 and no Z Fold 7 coming out this year. Although skipping doesn't really make any sense. It doesn't do anything for the company because they're not losing money on any of the devices that they put out. So while I personally don't think that they're gonna skip out on the Z Fold 7 or the Z Flip 7 this year, they definitely have a lot to reflect about, especially because they're not seeing the same level of success they saw back when they released the Z Fold 3 and the Z Flip 3. Those devices converted a historical number of Apple users over to the Z Flips, and that high has been on a steady decline. And it seems that some mistakes were made in the latest release. And just so we're all clear, even though the creaking and cracking of the glass doesn't actually impede your usability, that still doesn't mean it's okay. And although Samsung has not made a public call or a recall of these devices to get the glass fixed or maybe do a digitizer upgrade or something like that, because my digitizer wasn't upgraded, it was just replaced because I'm still having the same exact problems with the touchscreen. So they didn't upgrade the digitizer, they didn't make any change, they just replaced it with the same one, which is causing the same problems that I had before. So this is a problem in the manufacturing line, not something that happened afterwards, not some user error. And Samsung seems to know this because they are easily, and for most of you guys as well, doing the changes, doing the replacement for free. So they're not charging people yet. They're saying it's all under warranty and getting it taken care of. But that doesn't mean that it's okay. There's obviously some issues. Samsung has just been trying to keep it really under wraps. They've been trying to keep it real quiet because this could be just spelling out even more losses for Samsung down the line. But let me know what you guys think. Do you want me to jump on the Google Fold 7 this year? Is that what you want to see? A switch from the Samsung Flips and Folds over to the Google Fold? Or do you want me to give the Samsung Fold 7 a chance when that comes out? And we'll have to see with the S25 as well coming out this month, whether they stay with the Snapdragon chips or are they going to switch the processor on that phone as well. I'm looking forward to that. But until next time, please subscribe. I forgot to mention, it really helps the channel. So if you can subscribe, you can, okay? You absolutely can. So go ahead, smash the subscribe button. It really helps grow a channel like The Chilled Fossil. And I appreciate every single one of you. And until next time, take it easy. Peace.